Hi, welcome again to the Beer Temple. I am Chris Quinn, and I'm with my wife, once again, my lovely wife,
That's right.
Margaret Haw. Margaret Quinn.
Yes.
I caught myself kind of that time.
Oh, you actually did that? That wasn't a joke?
No, that was not a joke.
Okay, Chris often calls me by my maiden name. He seems to have forgotten that we got married a couple years ago.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah, so...
I'm just feeling into it. I'm feeling the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin. Our upstairs neighbors are listening.
Our upstairs neighbors are playing a little R&B tonight. So if you hear
a little Motown.
A little Motown is in the house. So that's our serenade for today's episode.
Yeah. So, we talked about it. So we just drank the Bourbon County coffee, but we just showed the Bourbon County because we kind of came into these beers a little bit late and wanted to show them. So we really like the coffee, but we're very, very excited about this beer. Mm-hmm. But before I get into the Bourbon County Bramble Rye, I wanted to give a little bit of beer news because I was kind of excited about it. This just came out today. Rate Beer, which is, if not one of the biggest beer sites on the internet, that along with every Beer Advocate and Beer News, came out with their annual awards, which I think is kind of cool that they do, and they named for, yet again, I think it's several times in a row, but the big thing was it's like 5 out of the last 6 years they've named the Three Floyds Brewing Company from Munster, Indiana. Munster, Indiana, I consider a Chicago brewery because they're so close. They named it Best Brewery in the World for the 5th time in 6 years.
Wow. That's crazy.
Pretty awesome. So we might have to have some more Three Floyds beers on. We've done the Alpha Claws. I think we've done Arctic Panzer Wolf, but we're going to have to do some more. Might have to break out some dark. I gave away a Dark Lord, but maybe we'll have to taste some of that.
Ooh, we could do that on Dark Lord Day. That could be a Dark Lord Day episode. Taste some Dark Lord.
Yeah, we could.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Also, furthering the Chicago news, the best American... So West Veletrin 12 was named Best Beer in the World, which it pretty much always is. And maybe we'll have that on the show, too.
Yeah.
We may or may not have that in our grubby little paws. And the best American beer is typically Russian River's Pliny the Younger. I had Pliny the Elder on episode 2.
Sorry. Max farted, and it is horrendous.
Well...
It's
blow it away from my nose.
It's like some sort of cabbage. What is he even eating?
I don't know.
Right.
You feed him.
So it beat out Pliny the Younger.
Yes. That beer is Goose Island's Bourbon County brand Rare Stout. Or Rare Bourbon County brand. Whatever it is. So, best beer. Number 2 in the world. Number 1 in America. Goose Island right here in Chicago. Cool. So...
It's like
Chicago, just representing.
I know.
Oh, and that's what this beer is right here. It's the Rare.
That's it. Bourbon County Rare.
Yeah, hand labeled.
Yeah.
This is bottled 1964.
Yeah, you may have heard about this beer. There were a lot of news stories coming out about that beer when it was first released.
It was quite pricey
because of the cost, and it kind of created a big. It was a hot topic there for a while. But as it turns out, if you paid the price, at least now you can say that you have the second best beer in the world. So. There's something for you.
Yeah, so at least it didn't get like panned.
Right. It came in just below Miller Chill. Yeah. Just below it. So close. Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, we're not going to be drinking this today. Sorry to tease again. But, yeah. Oh, and the final thing. Sorry to go on and not get to the beer. Hint, hint. But the one other thing is... So we got a reply from Goose Island about the pronunciation of the coffee.
Oh, yeah. What did they say?
I was right. It is Analana Ding Dong. No, it's Anhilananka.
Anhilananka. So the J is like a
Anhilananka.
Okay.
So there you go.
Well, thanks, Goose. Thanks for adding that clarification. Much appreciated.
Yeah. So... But moving on to the actual beer, we've got the first bottling ever of the Bourbon County Bramble Rye. It was bottled on 12/10/11. It is now the 26th of January. This beer certainly ages just fine. It says it develops in the bottle up to 5 years, but I think it can certainly go longer than that. But it's always good to taste these beers fresh to see what you're working with.
Sure. Yeah, that's a great point.
This beer is brewed with not exactly the same base beer as the coffee stout, which I believe is the same as the typical Bourbon County beer. They use the same stout and then they add coffee to it. I thought they just took the same stout here and added brambleberries, but that's not the case. They actually put some rye in the grist,
Right.
in the grain bill as well when they're brewing it. So it must have been a separate batch. I'm assuming. I'll try to get some confirmation of that. And then they aged it in rye whiskey barrels, which is kind of cool.
Go ahead.
No, that's.
I was gonna say, and the berries. Chris mentioned brambleberries. You might be wondering, what is a brambleberry? Well, they threw in some blackberries and raspberries from Michigan into the beer as well. And I love that they're using local Midwestern fruits in that. I mean, I just love that whole concept. And they did the same with the coffee. The Intelligentsia coffee was added, and of course that's a local Chicago brand as well. So I just want to give props to Goose Island for kind of
drink local.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I didn't know what a brambleberry was. I'm like, man, I don't know if I've ever eaten a brambleberry before. So I looked it up. It's just any sort of berry that grows in a bramble. So it's like a blue. I don't know if not blueberry, but it's basically raspberries and blackberries.
Right, and that's what's in here.
Yeah, black raspberries, white raspberries. There's something called like an Arctic brambleberry. I'm assuming they don't have that in there.
I doubt they grow in Michigan. Michigan's cold, but it's not that
locally grown Arctic brambleberries.
Eat local.
We gonna try it?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
All right. So when you poured it into the glass, you see that it's
viscous, oily.
Yeah, you can definitely see this beer has a lot of body.
Dark brown head to it.
Yeah. And once again, mine is just very slightly carbonated.
Man, have you smelled it?
I did smell it. I wanted to get to that in a minute. But yeah, very little carbonation to speak of.
Yeah.
The nose on this is really interesting. Of course, you get the BCS, kind of bones on the nose, but you really get that fruit.
You really do. It's like the coffee, how I was saying, you can get all the components here. You can here as well, although I will go a little bit further and say the fruit is almost overpowering some of that oakiness in it. You're getting that stout, you're getting those kind of chocolate roast flavors. Are you getting a lot of that toasty vanilla in there?
I do, and I think it takes a few sniffs to get your head around this beer. But the first thing I got was fruit, which I like that because I want to know that I'm drinking a brambleberry beer, if that's what the selling point is, let's go for it. So I first got the fruit, and then once you keep smelling it, I do get a lot of those roasty notes. I do get that little bit of oak and vanilla.
I'm definitely getting the stout and the berries at first, and you're getting the bourbon as well. You're getting the bourbon, but you really have to dig down in there to start getting those oaky, vanilla, coconutty flavors. For me, anyway.
Yeah.
I think the first thing I'm getting is like a deep, dark, rich berry jam, not the dried berries that you sometimes get in a stout, where you're getting like dried fruit, and dried blueberries is one that I get a lot, but this is like jam. It's like raspberry jam you're getting there, mixed with those big roasty coffee flavors, and if you're really and then you start getting some of that bourbony booze, and then for me, I really was reaching in there and getting some of that oak as well. It is there, but for me anyway, I had to kind of dig around for it.
Yeah. I cheated and had a little sip. This beer tastes. There's a candy.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's one of those, like when you get the sampler, like a Whitman sampler or something like that, and you get there's that one candy. I think it's like a raspberry jelly type candy that has dark chocolate coating. That's what this is.
I thought the candy you were going to talk about is, have you ever gotten those hard candies that you can get in bulk, and they were raspberries, but every once in a while there was like a blackberry in there? They were like these round little pebbly candies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's what this tastes like too.
Okay, interesting.
Kind of like a chewy hard candy.
Yeah. So we're both kind of thinking, I think, the same thing. I'm saying, kind of like a chocolate covered raspberry jam type thing, and you're saying the raspberry candy. So to me, we're both saying that fruit is coming forward in this big time.
Yes. Big time. Big time. I
don't get any of the rye. Do you?
No. But I will say again, I never have been good at picking up rye.
And
you've always have been very good at picking up rye.
Yeah, and that's why I said it's kind of weird. Usually I can kind of, taste the rye as soon as I get it, but I'm not getting rye on this.
Yep. So here's what I think of the beer. When you're tasting it, you get again the fruit. The fruit is the first thing that you get. followed by those bourbony flavors and the stout. I think it's a little out of balance. I would like to see this beer age for a little while and maybe see the fruit drop back and play like a secondary role to the stout. Right now, it's almost like out in front of the stout, and I would like to see it kind of, like I said, be pulled back, be tamed a little bit. I think that might just be the age. I think age may fix that a little bit. The fruit will kind of drop off and kind of come to where I want it to be. Solid beer. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I mean, there's none of those kind of big beer flaws that you get in there. Like, none of that. Not that they're flaws, but none of the meaty flavors, none of the soy. Just a really solid, good roast to it.
Yeah.
Good beer. I definitely would rank it behind both the coffee and the regular for me.
Okay. Well, I think I'm gonna go like let's see. I gave coffee 95. I'm gonna say 93 on the brand.
I'm gonna go 92 on it. It's just a little bit too much fruit for me. That jammy fruit. If that's something that you guys really like, then, by all means, go try to secure a bottle of it. It ain't going to be easy, but if you think this is something that sounds delicious to you, then try it. It's not a bad beer. I think really it's a matter of personal preference here.
Yeah.
I like that. I just love the vanilla, coconutty flavors of Bourbon County so much. To have them masked by that fruit is just, to me, a shame.
Yeah.
So I want to see it drop back and kind of come more in harmony with kind of what I expect the Bourbon County to be.
Well, one thing I will say about this, on the flip side, if you're a guy out there and you're, trying to get your girlfriend, a guy who may want to get your girlfriend into beer, or a
gal
who
wants to get her
wants to get your girlfriend into beer, this could be a good beer for women who generally, obviously big generalization here, but generally appreciate some of those fruity flavors in beers. I think this would be a really approachable beer for women because of that.
Yeah,
and then
certainly an approachable bourbon aged or whiskey aged imperial stout.
Yeah, but I mean you have fruit and chocolate in this beer, and I think a lot of women would appreciate that.
Yeah. There you have it, guys. Thanks so much, as always, for watching, for all the comments. I kind of made a little comment on one of the shows where it was just me, that nobody had left a comment for like 3 shows, and then people have been leaving tons and tons of comments. So
you guys are awesome.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, you guys rule. As always, you can see us on Facebook and on craftbeertemple.com, as well as Twitter, or on YouTube and Blip, and pretty much
the interwebs.
Google us.
Yeah.
All the tubes have a little bit of Craft Beer Temple in them. But until next time, we've got some beer to drink, and hopefully you do too.